I never do this, but I'm going to do it because this person, Booooskie is their username on this app. They clearly want a lot of attention because they do what I'm about to show you to all kinds of creators, and they are unable to come up with original content. So I just wanted to boost her because I know that she really, really wants attention. Now, I don't usually do this kind of a thing because every single day on this app and on other platforms, I'm someone who has enough of a presence where I get hate messages, hate comments. People make videos about me trying to discredit me. You might have the FBI show up at your door. That could be a thing. It's just part of the gig. And when you sign up to do that, you understand that. Anyway, I want you to listen to what Booooskie has to say about me. At first, it doesn't sound like she's saying anything about me, but it comes to a point where you're like, oh, that's the point, I guess. And then we're going to talk about it.
So I would just like to say very clearly that there has not been a single peaceful protest in the world history that has taken down fascism. If voting was enough to take down fascism, if asking was enough, if calling your representatives was enough, this would have stopped a while ago. Here's everyone's reminder that even in cases like MLK, most of the changes happened after he was taken out and America almost burnt down to the ground. I cannot believe how privileged and lacking understanding of how severe this is really going to get, even though you're talking about it. Your page, it's very obvious that there are very privileged groups of people in America.
Let's make one thing very clear. Booooskie, I am never, ever going to stand up on a digital platform or a real platform in some town square and say, let's take up arms against the government. Okay? That is not who I am, nor is it responsible when you have a microphone as loud as mine can be. Because I don't know who my followers are. I don't know who views my videos. I don't know if people have mental health disorders. I don't know what their state of mind is. And to stand up and suggest some sort of violence and having that idea land in the wrong hands is just absolutely irresponsible and a scary thing. It's never going to happen. It's not who I am. I do want to talk about the one thing you said, though, about my privilege. And I am not unaware of this privilege. I was born into an all-white family, middle class in the suburbs, okay? It does not get more Norman Rockwell than that. I have a mom and a dad who are still married. I am a white, cis, straight woman who does not want or need for anything. I get that. I hear you. I recognize it. And I do my best to mitigate that in my content. But I will tell you that I have had a number of experiences in my life where I have been elbow to elbow with people who are not like me. I've worked together with people who are not like me. And let me give you some examples. Number one, I spent 6 years teaching in Title I schools. If you don't know what those schools are, they are federally funded schools. I had students who were undocumented because it was a sanctuary school. I had kids who would go home at night and not have food on their table and who did not have permanent homes because their families could not afford to rent an apartment, so they lived in a hotel, and when that became too pricey, they would move somewhere else, usually cheaper, but also more unsafe. I would sit up at night and I would hope that the kids would remember to brush their teeth with the toothbrush that I supplied with my spare change because they didn't have those things at home. I sat across the table during parent-teacher conferences with parents who were actively in addiction, actively showing up to school high, but absolutely still showing up to school. I understand what it's like to watch a student die and know what that is like for the people around them, not just the teachers, but the students, and how they manage that in third grade brain. It's heart-wrenching. I know what it is like to have students who have nothing, and I know how strong those communities can be, and for that, I am privileged. I'm privileged because after I was done teaching, I went and I worked in a rehab center while I went to grad school full-time. I was at school full-time, I worked full-time. And again, I was in situations that were very, very scary at times and had life or death consequences. I was there when patients overdosed. I was there one day when we had a patient commit suicide, and there were staff who witnessed this and needed to go home. And so I was part of the group that would send them home and make sure that work still got done that day, that patients were still supported, because someone in their community decided that this life was too hard to continue. I know what it's like to be educated, and that is a privilege, but with that privilege also comes the ability to recognize the signs of things like fascism, of things like totalitarianism and authoritative bullshit and domestic terrorism. I'm super privileged. There is not a day in this life that I do not try to better someone else's life. And to sit behind a screen and to assume that you know someone and to call me privileged for the work I try to do so hard every day to educate others, build community, bring awareness. I have no words. I'm sorry that whatever is going on in your life makes it so necessary for you to say those types of things to someone like me. I just want you to remember, there are people on the other side of the screen, and all of those people you tag in your videos and want to call out, they're all so much bigger than these people you see in the rectangle called your phone.